As I flip through this encyclopedia, I have now read this as an AI would. Good afternoon, my name is Julia Ferrero, and I'm the introductory speaker for the proposition team. Before beginning, let's go over the question at hand. Is the rapid development of AI, foreseeable in the future and in recent years, a positive development? Something important to mention is the meaning of the word rapid. Rapid does not mean irresponsibly, it means to do things at a great rate. I mean, think about it logically. Do you really think that experts are gonna take away precautions and not follow them? When we meet faster, we may be prioritizing this development, since AI is not perfect, and we do recognize this. We would be reaching all of the benefits that AI gives us and fixing all of its faults faster. We would also like to clarify how the question refers to foreseeably in the future instead of in the foreseeable future. This small semantic altercation makes the argument say what can be reasonably predicted in the future, not the short term. This being said, our argument will consist of two main points. One, positive effects that the rapid advancement of AI has done in recent years. And two, why AI must be developed rapidly, foreseeably in the future. First of all, let us be reminded of the overwhelmingly positive effect that AI has towards humanity. Countless benefits can be spotted from education all the way to businesses. For example, in businesses, AI allows logistics and shipping companies to identify errors. AI is also implemented into areas of life that would bring great harm to human life. This information comes from the International Journal of Innovative Research in Science, Engineering, and Technology, and I can give you this evidence for that if you want it. And these facts tell us that AI itself is a system that foreseeably can and is being used for positive benefits. Anyways, we do not have time to mention every single thing that AI does because the list is simply too long. Now, let's start with our first point. To prove the benefits of to prove the rapid development of AI in recent years and that this is positive, we're going to refer to a graph from DataBench, which serves as a visual representation of the rapid development of AI. And then we're going to get this timeline, and we're going to name several positive things that it has done in this timeline. For example, in recent years, there has been a rapid development of AI in multiple sectors. What has this done? It has created a huge range of jobs. In fact, there are more jobs created than destroyed. And this is from the American Action Plan, which I can also give you, and my R1 will expand on this point later on. We'd love to mention every single thing that the rapid development of AI has brought in recent years, but again, we simply do not have time, and because of this, we will go into detail for one of them in our R1, for two of them in our R1, employment and healthcare. Arguably the most important. In fact, the great benefit of the benefits of the rapid development of AI is COVID times. The implementation of AI during the pandemic allowed businesses to reap its countless benefits from countries all the way from the US to Malaysia. I can also give you this evidence if you want it. Now, on to our next point. Benefits of the rapid development of AI foreseeably in the future. We cannot take our time developing this amazing piece of technology when it can be potentially benefiting people globally right now. If we develop AI now rapidly, then we can find out the dangers and the uses of AI. We can potentially make it more accessible to countries in poverty that could strongly benefit from it right now. So the proposition, and I ask you this, why should we wait if we can safely benefit from everything that AI has to offer right now? Thank you.
In the favorite of the tortoise and the hare, the tortoise saved the race by walking at a slow pace, while the hare was advancing quickly. But then the hare decided to sit down under a tree to rest for a while. So the tortoise, although walking at a slow pace, caught up with him and ended up reaching the finish line first. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Laura Laura, and today I'll be introducing this debate, during which my team and I will endeavor to prove that the only possible answer to the question proposed today in this debate is the rapid development of artificial intelligence during the recent years and foreseeably in the future. A positive development is a firm and resounding no. We will make this claim with our two solid arguments, the first one of security and the second one of drawbacks, both backed by our thesis, which states that the rapid advance of artificial intelligence is a threat. It's a threat to society, and it will bring more drawbacks than benefits. However, before continuing with our arguments, I would like to establish some basic concepts for the correct comprehension and execution of this debate. First of all, the Cambridge Dictionary defines rapid development as the process in which someone or something grows or changes at a very fast rate. Furthermore, I would like to emphasize that our argumentative line will be focusing on the rapid advance of AI and the drawbacks it will bring to society. However, we do not deny that artificial intelligence might be beneficial in the long run during a slow and safe development. That being said, I will now present our two arguments, the first of security and the second one of drawbacks. In our first argument of security, we defend that the rapid development of artificial intelligence poses a threat to our society due to many reasons. Firstly, there is a lack of regulation regarding the implementation of artificial intelligence. The most significant example is the use of artificial intelligence in wars. AI weapons identify and kill human targets solely based on algorithms. Unfortunately, the use of these devices are not regulated and laws are not defined. For example, the United Nations Convention on Certain Conventional Weapons has come to no conclusion and has been considered a failure. The threat of terrorism conducted by artificial intelligence is more than present, and the problem is that there are no existing laws that limit or control its use. What's more, new software, for example the Microsoft one, that can clone voices, poses a serious threat on personal privacy. Now moving on to our second argument, of drawbacks. In this argument, we defend that the rapid development of artificial intelligence is socially detrimental. In the first place, artificial intelligence will definitely increase unemployment, a problem which is already huge in our society and which will only get bigger if we implement artificial intelligence. The automation of jobs will lead to the loss of millions of people lose their jobs, creating even more unemployment. Although the development of artificial intelligence will create more jobs, these are unsuitable to our current society, since people don't have the certain education and training necessary to conduct them. And secondly, the rapid development of artificial intelligence has the potential to perpetuate bias, discrimination, and increase the digital gap between countries, a gap which is already enormous and which we do not want to contribute by increasing due to the application of artificial intelligence. Lastly, the use of artificial intelligence in education transforms the learning gap, transforms learning process, making it more dependent. Students will lose the opportunity to develop certain abilities, such as research, creativity, or critical thinking. Therefore, with our two arguments of security and drawbacks, we have proven and will continue proving during the rest of this debate how the only possible answer to the question proposed today is the rapid development of artificial intelligence during the recent years and foreseeably in the future, a positive development, is a firm and resounding no. Thank you.
Good afternoon, my name is Charlotte Watson. I'm the R1 speaker for the proposition. Good afternoon, my name is Charlotte Watson. I'm the R1 speaker for the proposition team. I'm going to proceed with the structure. I will explain my oral arguments as mentioned by the introductory speaker, why AI has been overwhelmingly positive in recent years, and why it must be rapidly developed in the future. Now, within these explanations, I will rebut others' arguments. With that being said, I would like to remind us all of the overwhelmingly beneficial usage of AI towards humanity, as mentioned by the introductory speaker. There are so many benefits, we cannot simply manage to fit them all into this 6-minute speech. Let's discuss the tremendous benefits of AI's rapid development in healthcare. I wonder if you could think of an example. How about COVID-19? We've all lived through the global pandemic. Imagine if we were still informed. We would not even be here today. The only reason we are here today is because of how well our healthcare system and doctors have dealt with it, all with the help of AI. They use AI-powered algorithms and screen monitors. You don't even deny it. We've all reaped its enormous benefit. Whilst AI was advancing, experts found an incredible use for it in creating apps as well as health trackers in recommending appropriate medicine. This unique technology is so astounding that it can help so many individuals across the world. Think of how many people you know with disease, with illness, with cancer. Imagine if it could have been saved earlier with these AI detecting technologies. Answer your question.
All of these advantages are great, but why is it needed to be rapid?
I will progress into that in my second argument. to not rapidly develop AI would be to prolong that benefit to our friends, to our families. We have benefited greatly from the rapid development of AI in the healthcare system. It has so positively impacted society already that if we did not allow it to develop, well then we would simply prolong those benefits. And what good would that do? Now let's discuss AI's extraordinary benefits regarding employment. Millions more jobs have been created in AI rather than destroyed, showing the source over there. Disregarding your argument, but also we must take into account the law of supply and demand. 20 years ago, we would have said that the internet would steal away all our jobs. TVs were taking our jobs, news reporters were taking our jobs. However, look at us now. Hence rebutting your employment. The rapid development of AI in recent years proved in a study by the University of Warwick has indeed increased jobs by 165% since 2020 due to the rapid development according to global data as well. This is hugely beneficial to our society as it is clear that with the rapid development of AI comes rapid evolution. Furthermore, you can clearly see how the employment sector has benefited greatly from the rapid development of AI. It has proved that we are able to work alongside AI and to adapt accordingly. How many workers are under stress, are forgotten about by the masses, are worked to the bone? AI eases the workload of these employees and diminishes their work stress, shown in a graph. I'm sure you can recognize how important the well-being of our very own people, of our very own employees is. Not just in Western countries, however, as proven by my introductory speaker, also in international countries, such as Mongolia, Pakistan, and Japan. Only a portion of examples are shown here. Imagine how much more countries will be able to benefit if AI is allowed to develop rapidly. AI's ability to target structural issues and adapt companies will be used to help those in fields whose jobs are being lost. Of course, some jobs will be surrendered to AI for the greater good of humanity, unfortunately. But if AI continues to rapidly develop, and if its key part in employment is the creation of jobs and the development of the job industry, who is to say that it cannot solve this issue? Innovation is the ability to see change as an opportunity, not as a threat. Steve Jobs. AI's rapid development drives innovation in many fields, including medicine, transportation, and entertainment. However, those are so many, I will not get into this. AI is constantly finding it himself in new applications every single day, transforming industries for the better, evolving and easing the workload of employees along the way. Firms are currently rapidly adopting AI to make better decisions, to lower costs, and to process huge amounts of data, all proven by the White House. AI is clearly impacting and evolving our society for the better. AI is also cheaper than not rapidly developing it. Because, according to the White House, because of the problems with which AI is devolving, these costs may now be particularly acute. Therefore, to not rapidly develop AI would to be even more less efficient and to waste more money. So hence, why should we do that? Furthermore, AI is bound to be a part of our future. We cannot disregard it. And we do not admit that it doesn't have current issues. You're right. That's exactly why many of us rapidly develop it. Furthermore, the benefits of its recent rapid advancement already outweigh the cons. And furthermore, rapidly developing AI is efficient and more positive than simply taking our dear time. The rapid development of AI foreseeable in the future improves our employment and our healthcare system, as well as being more budget-wise and efficient, proven by experts in the journal. Only through rapidness will AI improve. There are issues in AI, of course, but that's exactly why, as mentioned before, we should rapidly evolve to find out the dangers and the benefits as fast as possible in order to progress our society to a standard we cannot even deem to see. With innovation comes the future. Remember, the future is indeed unpredictable. We do not know what challenges we may occur. That's why we must develop it as rapidly and safely as possible. We've been given AI, and if AI has been overwhelmingly positive itself, its rapid advancement in recent years has been overwhelmingly positive, then, if not now,
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Sofia Avila. I'm the first riddle of the team that's positioned against the question posed in today's debate. Prior to explaining my own arguments, I would like to go over the other team's argumentative method. They have posed a question. It's why late? Well, there's two main reasons, and two very clear reasons that encompass many more areas that they have shown us. They have only focused on employment, which will prove to be wrong, and also on healthcare, and we will present many more areas, such as the first problem is that there is no legislation, or at least an effective one. That the existence of a legislation does not mean that it is effective. Therefore, this has led to problems in the transforming of warfare, and also other problems concerning privacy. Also, the second problem is that people cannot adapt. That's why we cannot go that fast, because people and society does not go as fast as this artificial intelligence, which they are telling us about. Jobs being created, but the society cannot progress to adjust to these jobs, even if they're created, they are pointless. Now I'm going to go over our arguments. Our first argument is an argument of security, in which we are based on the fact that the rapid development of AI poses a big threat for humanity in terms of safety. The first reason for this is the lack of regulation, as I already explained. That really impacts people's privacy in the transforming world. For example, in AI-assisted warfare, the dependency on remotely piloted drones is quickly increasing, but its regulation is not, leaving room for big humanitarian and environmental damage. In recent conflicts, for example, in Azerbaijan, Syria, and Ukraine, this has been made evident. According to Samuel Benedict, an advisor for the Center for a New American Security, we are currently witnessing a drone war. The weapons used, mainly lethal autonomous weapon systems, identify, select, and kill human targets solely on the decision based on an algorithm, not in humans. We are letting machines control us. In fact, a 2021 report by the UN panel of experts on Libya documented their views hunted down retrieving forces. A human would understand the context, but AI does not have the intelligence to understand other contexts surrounding this type of situation. This is why this is not positive, because it's transforming our first point, warfare, into something more negative and more damaging. In 2021, the first use of these lethal weapons was happened. And so a legal binding protocol was seen as a self-evident need. Yet, since 2013, the United Nations Convention on certain conventional weapons have been making suggestions. But in December 2021, they could not even agree on starting negotiations. To negotiate a protocol, this was seen as failure. Similarly, they may be new enabled forms of terrorism, such as the autonomous drones, which I've already mentioned, and also robotic swarms to remote attacks for the delivery of diseased human and robots. Our law enforcement and defense organizations will need to adjust to these potential threats, and they are not. An article by LifeWire in 2023 has shown how a new Microsoft software has also been created. This is regarding privacy concerns of the users, which is able to clone anyone's voice. And this has raised a major concern in security of personal privacy, due to also the lack of legislation. The lack of legislation on basic identity theft. This can lead to other problems, such as fake news regarding social media, which you have seen throughout the years. Also, and the second argument, which is an argument of drawbacks, we show how the rapid development of this AI is detrimental, since it brings major drawbacks to a society. Increased unemployment, the point that they're trying to make. Even if AI is creating new jobs, there's also 85 million jobs, according to an article by Mike Thomas in January 2023, which is a tech journalist in the Chicago magazine, that has established how 85 million jobs are expected to be lost due to automation, due to AI by 2025. Even if these new jobs are created, the people, those 85 million people, will not be able to adapt in 2 years to have the education needed to perform the tasks those jobs require, which are advanced engineering for AI and technological related jobs. And in 2 years, the education is not reported. Society is not able to adjust to those necessities. Also, in the second area is that it can perpetuate bias and unjust discrimination and distribute to inequality. In some instances, certain AI systems are thought to have enabled racial minorities, based on data that AI systems have acquired. Also, in the area of education, it has contributed to the already existing problem. It's just going to make it worse. The problem of technological incorporation into education. This is just going to make it worse because people, children and people in any area of education, they're going to be more dependent on this artificial intelligence. And this is going to be inefficient. Our society is going to go to be dependent on a simple technology. Again, we're going to be controlled by machines. This is not possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Pedro Kit, and I'm doing the R2 for the proposition. Before I begin deciphering and refuting the arguments proposed by the opposition, I would like to first counter some of the refutations they've made towards our points. Firstly, they mentioned two reasons as to why we shouldn't wait. We should wait, sorry. The first one is a lack of legislation, which is blatantly wrong. In 2018, the Department of Defense in the USA passed a law governing the use of AI within military assets, completely contradicting the point that they made with no evidence. Secondly, Spain itself has already passed 4 different laws governing the use of AI, including Indes IA, Vida, Odesia, and IO Enrique. The next point they brought up is that we cannot adapt. They mentioned that we will not be able to adapt to the changes in AI. This has been said in every revolution that's occurred economically, every revolution that's occurred societally. However, they fail to realize that AI itself will help us adapt. What else will help us adapt in something that can completely change the way we learn, completely change the way we view society, something that will help us take the skills that we don't have and learn them efficiently and effectively. I'll take your question.
Could you please tell us where the Spanish government will remove these regulations?
I'm not quite sure, sorry. I do know the Department of Defense law was in 2018 and the 4 laws I mentioned have been passed recently. I want to continue by attacking the 2 points they've made. They began talking about security. They started with a lack of regulation that I've already explained to be completely false. They also talked about AI weapons, how AI weapons will be used by countries in a form of mass destruction. However, they fail to recognize the concept of deference. If AI is rapidly developed, all countries will rapidly develop it together. There will be mutually assured destruction and ensure that no nation uses AI against each other. This will completely destroy the usage of AI this will completely break up the point they're making about AI being used in the military for long usage. They also mentioned again no existing laws, which is, as explained, has been wrong. They mentioned the drone war drones being used in Iraq and Syria, describing them as autonomous. However, most of the drones utilized in these wars are not autonomous, but manned. They are unmanned and governed from a central field. They are not autonomous. They don't use AI just yet. The 2018 law by the Department of Defense blocks AI usage in these drones. They also mentioned that AI doesn't have the intelligence to combat the structural differences in society, to combat the situation that's occurring. However, they fail to realize that if AI develops quickly, it will be able to break these situations. If AI is already being used, developing it will ensure that we use it in a more efficient way. They also mentioned, similarly, lack of privacy concerns within the use of AI. However, big data firms already take your information and sell it to the highest bidder. These do not use AI, rather other algorithms and other forms of technology, and do the same thing they're claiming AI would do. AI, indeed, could actually help solve this issue by decentralizing information and allowing people to use information to understand where their information is going and who it's being sold to. AI will not cause privacy problems, but directly help them. They mentioned drawbacks as their second point. They talked about an increase in unemployment. This is not the case, however. New jobs will be created through the use of AI. And while they may argue that these new jobs will require certain skills, and that these skills will take time to create, they fail to realize that these skills will be brought by AI itself. Never before has the ability to learn something, to learn a new skill, been as easy as it is right now. AI will increase this by exponential amounts. Yep. Any and all skills. Anything you want to learn, you can learn through AI. AI language models alone can help explain difficult concepts to you in a simple way, allowing you to increase your knowledge and increase your skills. Even if you take a university course, these AI bots can help you understand the classes faster and understand the skills you're trying to apply better. They also mentioned bias and discrimination. And while it is true that bias and discrimination is present within AI systems, they don't realize that the only way to really get rid of this bias and discrimination is through rapid advancement. Through the rapid advancement, they will ensure that the systems with bias are filtered out through the free market. If there's a system which has bias, it will not be bought, it will not be used by companies. It will rot, the company will go bankrupt. And a different system, one that is not biased, one that is efficient and works towards humanity's goals, will succeed. The rapid development of humanity will allow for the cycling through of worse AI systems into better AI systems. This is only possible through rapid development, not through slow development. They mentioned again technological incorporation into education, which is quite simply begging the question. They mentioned that there will be AI incorporation into education, but don't explain why this is negative or positive or anything. They simply state that it occurs. However, this is positive. We've seen throughout the past years how technology being integrated into education leads to better education for all, allowing you to disseminate information in a faster, better way to anybody across the world. AI will revolutionize this. It will ensure that somebody in Mongolia can be taking classes taught by Harvard professors posted on someone's computer in London. It will globalize the education industry and ensure that skills that are necessary for the development of humanity are pushed through to everybody. In summary, not only are the benefits of AI clear and abundant, but the rapid development of these benefits is positive in and of itself. The opposition team attempted to mention certain concerns with AI, but they failed to realize that AI will solve these problems itself. And that rapid development will ensure that only the best AI survives. Thank you very much.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Priscilla Gonzalez, and I am the second rebuttal of the team position against of the question posed in today's debate. During my intervention, I would like to first rebuttal the opposing team argument and then reconstruct our own argumentative line. The opposing team brings us three arguments. Their first argument of positive effects, based on three points. First, they say that it helps businesses and employees. Although this can be true, we don't see the urgency of this matter. Why can't we wait to implement correct laws and implement correct legislation that can allow the correct use and the correct production of artificial intelligence to be used to help businesses? And even if this wasn't the case, even if we didn't do that, it might benefit businesses in the short term, but it will definitely negatively impact both the economy, both short term and in the long term, since we can see a loss of jobs. And this takes me to their third point, where they say that artificial intelligence will create jobs. Yes, artificial intelligence is thought to create jobs, but the problem is that the majority of the people that are losing these jobs through artificial intelligence do not have the abilities and do not have the skills to conduct these jobs. These people don't have degrees in informatics, robotics, or artificial intelligence engineering. They cannot do them. Therefore, they are going to be unemployed, indifferently of the increase of jobs that the opposing team is saying. Then they also say that it will help with the healthcare system, since it helps with treatment and diagnosis of patients. So we are not saying that artificial intelligence isn't beneficial. Yes, it has its positive effects, but the rapid advancement of the rapid development of artificial intelligence is not beneficial. When we're taking into account people's health, we cannot risk it. We have to take it slow. We have to ensure that it is working. It is better to be safe than to be sorry. When we're treating and diagnosing patients, we cannot put this in jeopardy. We have to take this into account. And even if we didn't do this, even so, machines, well, the artificial intelligence doesn't take into consideration other factors like feelings of patients or other symptoms that they aren't noticeable at first sight. That artificial intelligence does not take into account and is therefore not a efficient tool to identify treatment or diagnosis for patients. Your question? We're not postponing its usage. The thing is, we right now are seeing an incorrect implementation and usage of artificial intelligence, as we say in our drawbacks argument. If we take the time to
just be sure that everything we're doing is safe and everything we're doing is correct, all of the potential risks that artificial intelligence has are going to be eliminated. And in their second argument, they say that why wait? Why can't we do it now? And we've given them two reasons. Because one, we have no legislation. To which they presented us a law conducted in 2018, 5 years ago. Many advances have happened during that time. We have new artificial intelligence models that are not englobed in the legislation they have provided. For example, the drones that we have brought in our first argument. And I would like to say that existence does not equal efficiency. Just because we have something doesn't mean it's going to work. We have to take our time, we have to develop it slowly just to ensure that everything we do is correct, because we cannot take risks. Now, moving on to my own argumentative line. In our argument of security, we have said that we have a lack of legislation, and they have said that there are laws existing. But as I had said before, in 5 years, many things have happened. They have also said that the drones we brought in our first argument as an example of artificial intelligence that lacks legislations, that all countries will rapidly develop at the same time, and so together they won't attack each other. Well, again, that is a fallacy, and even if it wasn't, there's no correlation between these two facts, and the lack of legislation that there is right now, that we can see that the legislation cannot keep up with the artificial intelligence, negatively impacts our society. And to what we said about privacy policy, they say that AI helps solve this issue, but when we're seeing that AI is used for cyber attacks and to clone people's voices, how can we say that it is helping solve this issue? We cannot fight fire with fire. We have to take it slowly and ensure the correct implementation and the correct and ethical usage of these things. Then in our second argument of dropouts, unemployment, they say new jobs will be created, and they say that actually artificial intelligence will help educate learners. Well, as far as I'm concerned, artificial intelligence cannot give anyone a degree, but even if the rapid development is not necessary, seeing as that information that artificial intelligence gives us, I can access it from the internet itself, from any other source, from any other article. I don't need the rapid development of artificial intelligence in this factor. They also say that we've said bias, and they say that bias can be prevented through the rapid development. But they have lacked to say why. Why is that so? We must take our time to ensure that everything we do and everything we do is correct, and therefore we can eliminate the majority of the bias as possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ana Romero. I'd like to congratulate somebody again for pushing to the post today. So, the opposing team comes today to this debate with apparently two arguments, but in the first argument they split a couple of parts in it, and then in the second argument they didn't really go into it. But well, we have taken out their whole argument, and I'll prove why. So, firstly, jobs will be created with it's called positive effects. The first one, jobs will be created. Number one, we have answered that society cannot adapt to these jobs with rapid advancements. So as we cannot adapt as fast, there will be two things: empty new jobs, and secondly, uneducated and unemployed people. So this is not a benefit for rapid development. Secondly, accessible to developing countries. Well, our team has answered. If private companies are indeed exploiting developing countries, why would they want to help them economically? It doesn't make really sense. So this part of the agreement also has been taken down. And then thirdly, healthcare. Healthcare has a positive effect, and we have indeed agreed. Healthcare is positive, but no examples were given to show that the rapid development is crucial right now. Instead of waiting at what we're saying, and we should wait, we should control what we're gonna do, especially with healthcare, and then we could do this we'll have these positive effects with artificial intelligence. Their argument has been taken down. Then, reasons. They repeated and repeated. There are so many reasons that we will not go into them. Well, there weren't concrete examples of the rapidness and the necessity. So our team has thought that this has been taken down. Then we brought two arguments. Firstly, security. They answered with two evidences. The first one, that the Department of Defense from the USA regulated this in 2018. Well, my team has answered that it was 5 years ago. There was a pandemic, there has been a war in the middle of it. It was too far away, and it's the proof that we haven't been able to adapt since, and we shouldn't wait to make new regulations. And the second one, a recent one from Spain. Even if this one were implemented, we should wait to debate, and that's what my second rebuttal said, that we should wait to debate it internationally. So this argument is still standing. And then in our drawbacks argument, they answered to the immediate unemployment, and no, they didn't say anything, sorry, about the lack of education, because there is a lack of education, actually. And then secondly, in the drawbacks, they rebutted with their point that has already been taken down. So, thus, as my colleague said before, although the tortoise was walking at a slower pace, it managed to reach further and to win the race. Let's wait and get further with artificial intelligence. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Manuel Garcia. I will be the speaker for the proposition. I will follow very simple structure. First, I will go into their arguments and how we refuted them, and then I will go into our arguments and how their refutements were counter-refuted by us. Okay, so their first argument, security, right? AI being used in wars and the failure of legislation to get into this. Well, we first tried to refute this by saying how actually the rapid development of this will actually allow to solve these issues by the AI itself trying to counteract this, right? And getting the development as explained by Ira 1. Yet they said that there's no legislation towards the use of AI within wars, which my R2 speaker proved that there is, right? There's a lot of laws being passed right now. They also claimed a lot about drones, right? Drones in wars being used as they did in their R1. My R2 speaker explained that these were actually not AI, they were just drones that were controlled by humans. They failed to address that. Okay, then into personal privacy. The failure of legislation to get into that. Well, my R2 speaker explained how big data already has all of this personal information, and that AI would solve this by decentralizing all of this data. They did not come to refute this. Their drawbacks, right? Their second drawbacks. Okay, they said it will increase unemployment. Well, we refuted the first by saying that it will increase jobs, not destroy, and in any case enhance, which they did not go get into, right? That it enhances jobs. And they're claiming that it moves too fast, right? The jobs that are being substituted and created, they have different skills and are not yet being able to adapt. Well, we explained to this that this is not going to happen because AI is helping actually develop these skills faster than ever. They also explained the drawbacks of racial bias, right? But we explained that by the free market, by R2, right? We actually did address that by explaining how only the best AI will survive in racial bias. And inequality between countries and learning gap. We did address the learning gap. We said that AI is helping learn better than ever. And inequality between countries. Inequality between countries was addressed by explaining that benefits are being reaped by every country in the world by my R1 and interest speakers. Okay, our effects, right? Positive effects. Logistics. They told us to wait for the benefits of lower costs, which I'll go into why we shouldn't wait later. Employment. They said, again, just the same skills, and we saw that AI is helping develop the skills. Healthcare. They claimed that it was positive, right? They gave us that, but then said, oh no, we have to wait to do it more efficiently. But my R2 speaker explained that actually we already have to do it already because there's already benefits being created, right? Our second point, development. What must be developed now? Innovation makes it more accessible. They fail to address that AI is being made more accessible for every kind of person in every income class. Wait, they said there's no legislation yet, right? Well, we said that there is legislation, and they said, oh no, not yet, there's actually there's too late, right? And finally, less efficient, not too costly intervention money. They did not say that not advancing will be more costly. And finally, I would just like to say that the AI is better.